In today's video, we're making miso glazed eggplant. It's sweet, salty, silky, and completely addicting. We're gonna make this Japanese style miso eggplant using baby eggplant. They cook a little faster, they look amazing on the plate, and the skin is so tender you can eat the whole thing. For the full ingredient list, check the description box below. But enough talking, let's get cooking. So we're gonna start off with some baby eggplant. I chose the baby eggplant because I like eating the skin, and these are super tender. They're not very bitter. There's not a lot of seeds in them, but there's a whole lot of tenderness on the inside, and the skin is very edible, and I'm a big skin eater. You can use a Japanese eggplant, you can use the big Italian eggplants, but just know that the bigger you go, the thicker the skin is, the more seeds are gonna be on the inside, and bigger eggplants tend to have a little bit of a bitter flavor. Not crazy bitter, but just a little bit more, and it's noticeable. So again, we're going baby eggplant. This is my favorite thing to make this dish with. So now we're gonna cut our eggplant in half. When you're cutting eggplant, because it's a round vegetable, I don't like to lay it flat and then cut it here, because if we cut it here, it's gonna have two sides that it's not gonna sit on well. But we already know that it sits well on this side, so once the eggplant like sits on its side, I'm gonna turn it 90 degrees, I'm gonna hold it with one hand, and that's gonna be where I'm gonna slice it. So now, when we lay it flat, we got two sides that can lay pretty flat, because this is the way the dish is gonna go. And you can see, like, we're keeping the stem on, I'm slicing all the way straight through. And now when you do it that way, you get two like mirror images of the eggplant, as opposed to like one being big, one being small, one being high, one being low. It's just a much more even way to cut them. So now we're gonna cut a crosshatch on the inside. So we're gonna cut diagonal slices one way and then the other way. And we're gonna do that so it cooks a little bit faster, gives it more surface area to caramelize, and it's gonna cook the inside more evenly as opposed to the heat having to travel all the way through. I'll take the eggplant, and I'm always gonna do this on the cutting board. I'm not gonna do it in my hand. The skin is super thin. The knife will go right through. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crosshatch nice and easy all the way through, making sure that I'm not busting through the other side. I'm just gonna do a couple one way, and then I'm gonna turn it 90 degrees and do a couple the other way. And you can see that we've cut down the crosshatch and we did not cut all the way through. So let's do the same for all the other pieces. And I don't have to use a big knife. Maybe you don't feel comfortable using the big chef knife to do such a precise cut. So this is where like your smaller paring knives can come in and do that more easy small work. So it's probably a little easier for you to manage this knife. And look how I'm holding the knife. I'm grabbing the knife through the butt end of the knife, and I got my finger on here, and this is gonna help me control the pressure of where I'm cutting and how much pressure I'm cutting. Like this, I can do it, but I have way less control over the front part of the blade. I feel way more comfortable holding the knife like this. So now this is gonna be a big time secret ingredient, even though it's not really a secret ingredient, it's probably the most common ingredient ever, salt. You gotta salt your eggplant before you cook it. This is gonna give time to draw moisture out of the eggplant, and that's what's gonna give eggplant that beautiful, creamy, tender texture, and not that rubbery texture that sometimes people get because they skip this step. So we're gonna take some salt, and nice and high, I'm gonna sprinkle it over the top of the eggplant. And I'm trying to cascade it all over the place. And even though salt falls a little bit better higher, I can pull the eggplant open a little bit and let some of that salt fall inside those nice little crevices that we cut. So now we're gonna let this sit for about 10 or 15 minutes to help draw out the moisture from the eggplant. So I'm gonna put this aside, and let's make our miso glaze. Now let's make our glaze. This is an amazing glaze that you can use for more than just eggplant, and it comes together so easy. And a lot of these, once you do start doing like some Asian cooking recipes, you're gonna acquire all of these ingredients already, and they should be part of like your pantry staples. First up, we're gonna go with the traditional white miso. You can use red miso here, but miso is such a great ingredient because it brings that beautiful umami punch that is unmatched out of all these ingredients. Miso is such an amazing ingredient. It's got that big umami punch that everybody loves. It's a little salty. It's got deep, deep flavors. One of my favorite things to keep on hand and use for a lot of different things, just like this glaze. So here we're gonna put in 2 big spoonfuls. Next up is gonna be some mirin. So mirin is a sweetened sake that's used a lot in Japanese style recipes. Another pantry staple. I absolutely love it. Keep it on hand all the time. And if you don't have these ingredients, you probably just don't do enough Asian cooking. And a little more, there we go. Now we're gonna put in some seasoned rice vinegar. So rice vinegar is gonna add acidity. It's also gonna add a really nice flavor. And rice vinegar has a nice neutral flavor to it, where it's not a super strong acid, but more of a mild one. And this one's sweetened a little bit. This is also seasoned. It's got a little bit of flavor in there. Now for some additional sweetness, we're gonna add some honey. You could go with honey, you can go maple syrup. In fact, as I was setting up for this recipe, I was struggling whether to do one or the other. So I saw the honey first and we're gonna go with the honey. But this is gonna add a really nice sweetness. It's also gonna bring some flavor. And at the same time, the sugar in here will caramelize really nicely when we throw this under the broiler. Now we're gonna put in a little low sodium soy sauce, an additional umami ingredient. Not too much, just a little. Now we're gonna put in some sesame oil. Just also just a little bit, stuff is super potent. I don't think I'd be cooking true to my heart unless I put some garlic in here. So let's get a clove of garlic that we're gonna shred really finely in there. And we don't have to go garlic crazy. 1 clove will probably be enough, especially this clove's nice and big. And here I'm gonna use my microplane. The microplane is gonna allow us to get this garlic super duper shredded. And so it's just gonna melt right into that glaze. I could put 2, but I'm gonna use some restraint here and I'm not going to do that. I'm just gonna put just the 1 because I know that's enough, even though there's really no such thing as enough garlic. We already know that. So now we're gonna use a whisk to mix this glaze together. And you could probably do this with a fork, but a whisk is gonna make the job much easier, especially because like the miso, the honey, it's a little like chunky and hard and it's not as liquid. So you're gonna have to like break it up. The whisk allows us to do that and make a nice smooth sauce. Again, you could probably do this with a fork. It'd be really difficult with a spoon, but we can turn this glaze into a nice smooth paste with just the whisk and a little bit of mixing. Now that our glaze is all mixed up, let's set this aside and let's take a look at those eggplants that have been sitting with the salt. You can see here that the water is starting to get pulled out. You can see all the little beads of water that are being expelled out of the eggplant. And this is gonna give us that nice custardy, tender eggplant, and it's gonna get us away from that rubbery, gross eggplant that a lot of people, when they make eggplant, they end up with because they either rush this step or they skip it altogether. So now I'm just gonna take a paper towel and I'm just gonna pat the outside dry. And I'm trying to get all that moisture. You can see how wet the paper towel is already, and I just did 2 of them. But I'm gonna try to pull that moisture out of the eggplant and get this all nice and dry. So now we're gonna use some neutral oil. Here I got some avocado oil and I got it in the spray bottle. It's just gonna make it really easy for me to apply this. I'm just gonna spray these all pretty close because I wanna blast it like right on the inside. You can see how like as the eggplant is drying, the space is opening up in between where we cut it. So before all those cuts were really tight, you can start to see that we got some space in there now. So here I'm gonna go and just give it a nice spray right across. You can use olive oil, but olive oil, especially for these like Asian style recipes, the flavor might be a little strong. So we're gonna go with a more neutral oil that's gonna give us a nice sear on the outside of these without giving it an overpowering flavor so that the miso glaze can really be the thing that shines here. So now let's head over to the stove and give these a sear before we get them in the oven. So now let's get a sear on the cut side of those eggplants. I got my cast iron pan hot over like a medium-high heat. It's got some decent heat right now, so now would be a good time to add some oil. The same oil that we covered the eggplant in, we're gonna use inside the pan. So I'm gonna give this just a quick spray on the inside. And now we're gonna work in batches, searing the inside of these. So I'm just gonna put them cut side down, give them a nice little pressure. And we'll do them in 2 batches. Seems like 4 fits inside this pan really nicely. There we go. And periodically we can check them, and you can see we got like a bit of browning here. I want to take that way further. So we start to see I got a nice color on the outside of this. I think this is actually pretty good. So I'm gonna start pulling these off one by one and putting them on my baking tray that I got lined with aluminum foil and parchment paper. And you can see once I get like nice browning, you can see that crosshatch is opening up even more as these cook. This one's probably like right at the limit. Borderline burnt, but not there yet. But just like pancakes, our second batch is gonna be a little bit better. So now I'm gonna let this pan reclaim a little bit of that heat, a little bit more oil, and in goes the second batch. The great part about baby eggplant is they cook pretty quick because they're not very large. So this is gonna make them a little bit more tender before we send them in the oven. I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees, and I'm gonna cook them for about 10 to 15 minutes before we glaze them so they get a nice and creamy all the way through. Then we hit them with the glaze and send them into the broiler. An eggplant, once they start cooking, they start to soften up a lot, so you want to be careful as to not damage them. They seem like they're very firm and sturdy vegetables when they're raw, but once we start salting them up and then we start cooking them, they're gonna get nice and soft, and you wanna make sure you're not damaging that beautiful flesh. So you can see that the outside has been cooked really nicely. They still have to cook a little bit more. So let's send these in the oven, and then we'll visit them in about like 10, 15 minutes. So while those are getting nice and tender in the oven and waiting for that glaze, we're gonna slice up some scallions. It's gonna be a nice green pop that we're gonna garnish this with. And how I like to cut the scallions is first I'll cut off the ends and give myself some nice evenness to work with. And now from here, I'm gonna cut on a diagonal, nice and fine. And diagonal is just a little prettier. You can cut the other way too, but the diagonal is gonna give us some nice, thin, garnished scallions that are really gonna look really nice. So those have been in the oven for about 12 minutes. You can see how they've sank down. You can see that they're nice and tender. All those spaces have now opened up. So let's hit these with the glaze. But before I do that, I'm gonna turn my oven to the broiler setting. And I got the rack positioned about 6 to 8 inches away from the broiler. Remember, closer works with the broiler, but it's gonna give you a less time and there's less wiggle room. There's more of a chance of burning. So I'm about 6 to 8 inches away. So let me turn that broiler on and let's hit these with the glaze. So now I'm gonna brush the glaze on the outside of these. Not gonna completely soak them, but I definitely want them to caramelize them to make sure I'm getting them on the edges. I could take the brush and kind of run it in between, make sure that that glaze is getting in those nice nooks and crannies. And you can see my baking tray is lined with aluminum foil and parchment paper. Putting parchment paper under the broiler is a little risky, but it's only going in for a short time and it's pretty flat. So I don't know how unsafe or safe that is, but you decide what's right for you. One of the first steps to cooking is making sure that you don't light your kitchen on fire. Parchment paper says, it's good till like 425 and you really shouldn't use it for a broiler, but I've done it a lot and very rarely do I get into trouble where the parchment paper actually catches on fire. Full disclosure. Okay, now that these are nice and glazed up, we're gonna throw them in the broiler for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, maybe up to 3 minutes. I might move it around just to make sure that I'm getting good contact. We wanna see that nice caramelization of this glaze on top without burning it. These look absolutely amazing. Look at this nice char we got on the outside. You can see how, like, again, they're even flatter than they were before because they're going to continue to cook and get nice and tender. But the glaze on the outside is nice and set. They're nice and cooked all the way through. Let's garnish them and let's eat these. So to garnish them, we're gonna go black and white sesame seeds. I just think it just looks a little better. If I was gonna use one, I'd probably just use like the white sesame seed, but I like tuxedo. It just looks really cool. And remember, we eat with our eyes first. So just like the salt from before, I'm gonna sprinkle the sesame seeds on from nice and high. It's gonna give us just a nice spread of the sesame seeds so they don't just all get clumped in one area. And you can see I'm doing this on the baking tray and then gonna transfer them over to my serving platter because it'll be a little neater where the excess sesame seeds that don't hit the eggplant are gonna fall onto the baking tray, and then it's not like scattered all over the final dish. And now we're gonna do the same thing with some black ones. And now we'll take our scallion greens. If there's any like sticking together, I'll always just give them like a little bit of a sprinkle apart. And here I might aim a little bit better because I don't want to waste all my scallion greens. Now let's transfer them back over to my serving platter. I really like this serving platter for this dish because it's like almost like shaped like an eggplant. I didn't intentionally do that. It's just the right size, but I think it's gonna look really cool, especially when you drop this on the table. Eggplants inside like the big eggplant shaped dish. So now with our super thin spatula, transfer these over. These miso glazed eggplant look so good. I can't wait to try them. I'm very unsure as to which one we're gonna try. Let's go with this one, even though they're all basically the same. So because we chose the baby eggplant, I'm just gonna cut right into this thing and eat it with the skin and all. If we chose like an Italian eggplant or like just like a bigger eggplant, I probably wouldn't eat the skin because it gets a little tough. But this is gonna be super delicious. And you can see how like the eggplant is cooked nice and all the way through. It's not white anymore on the inside. And you can see how like even like creamy it looks. I am drooling just sitting over it, staring at it. So enough talking about it, let's eat it. Wow. I absolutely love eggplant, and this really is an awesome recipe that lets this vegetable shine. When I was a kid, I hated the texture of eggplant, and as an adult, it is absolutely divine. It's creamy, and the fact that I'm eating the skin too gives it a little bit of like the texture that it needs. Because I think when I was a kid, I didn't like the mushiness of it. This plus the skin, this is absolutely fantastic. You could serve this as a side, you could serve this on top of some rice, or you could serve this just like this. This turns eggplant into a main character vegetable. The umami flavor that is coming off this is so good. Eggplant is like one of those vegetables like mushrooms where it has like a meatiness to it. So maybe you're vegetarian, maybe you're vegan. Is this recipe vegan? I think so. I think this is a vegan recipe too because I didn't put anything that's animal products in here, at least not that I know of. If you don't eat meat, but you're looking for something that's meaty and umami, this is it. Oh my God, this is so good. I was wondering, should I eat the stem? I'm eating the stem. That was really, really, really good. I'm gonna eat a couple more of these. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit like, drop me a comment, let me know what you thought about the video. And if you're into vegetable forward dishes, check out my roasted cabbage. That is a really nice, low-cal, delicious, and super yummy vegetable recipe. I will see you there. Thanks.